Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to episode, I believe, 18 of the BenchWire podcast. We got some games to talk about, some playoff Divisional Round games.
These playoff games have not been a letdown at all. Other than maybe the wild card. The wild card was a little bit of a letdown.
There was pretty much a letdown. Saturday night, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that wasn't a letdown for me.
But, yeah, they've been pretty entertaining. Let's start with the first one. The Jaguars versus the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes did get hurt in this game with the high ankle sprain, but he's expected to play this week against the Cincinnati Bengals.
I don't know why they say he's expected. Like, he's going to play. Like, there's not any sort of, like...
He is going to play.
They said that he limped off the stage, but then they showed a video, and he didn't limp.
He looked fine to me. Now, they are playing the Bengals in this game.
They are.
The Bengals are favorited.
By what? Wasn't it like...
1.5.
1.5, yeah.
But I think the Chiefs have a chance in this game. Of course they do. They're the number one seed. You got Patrick Mahomes, you got Andy Reid, and the whole gang.
I think what I'm most excited to see is how they're going to respond without having Tyreek Hill. Because everyone knows in previous years, they were kind of... they had two weapons that they could go to literally every single down. They were always open, and it was Tyreek and it was Kelsey. And then you talk about, Mahomes getting out of the pocket, creating plays. Kelsey is really good at just getting open, finding ways to get open. And then Tyreek, if he's going to the left side of the field, he can get to the right side before anybody else.
Yeah.
So, in terms of trying to face adversity, I'm excited to see how they do that. Excited to see if Juju can have some good luck in this playoffs.
See what Kadarius Toney can do in this matchup.
They have been using him. They've looked at him to kind of be not Tyreek Hill. I'd say probably kind of like Jerick McKinnon, just another one.
He's like a gadget player.
Yeah.
He's nothing he's not like a playmaker like Tyreek Hill.
They usually give it to him on short distance to see, he can probably juke somebody for a first down guaranteed. But also because if it's, second and short, he could potentially shake somebody off and then go for another 10 or 15. Mm-hmm. So,
should be a fun game.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see Joe Burrow and his Bengals offense. They've been really good last week, especially against the Bills, who everyone thought would win that game.
Including me.
Including you, even though you picked the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl.
I did.
So, I don't get that. But I think the Bengals... I think they will win this game. We'll talk about that.
I gotta defend myself though.
Okay, defend yourself.
With the Bills, with everything that happened, I was just expecting them to play with a lot of heart, and when things like this happen, it just seems like teams tend to go on like magical runs.
We're talking about Damar Hamlin. Yes. If you guys didn't know.
So I thought maybe they'd play with a little more juice. Obviously, the Bengals came out there and they did what they do best, which is. The pressure, it's never on them. They're really good at that. Mm-hmm. Even though people would say the pressure is on the Bengals in the AFC Championship this coming game, I think the pressure is more on the Chiefs.
Yep.
Because you weren't able to stop them last year, and you lost Charvarius Ward, and you just don't have the same players. Now, your defense is still great, no doubt. But somehow, you're going to have to stop Jamar Chase. The only thing that you might have on Jamar Chase is that he's healthy, but he hasn't really had the whole season to just get a rhythm. So there's times where he can be a no-show. T. Higgins, he's obviously getting better every single year, it feels like. Hayden Hurst, he's been a great fit for them.
That running game's been really good.
They just got to hope the Bengals O-line can kind of continue to not play as well as they probably should be.
Yeah.
That's really their only chance. You got to get pressure on Burrow.
Mm-hmm. The Bengals, I think they have a physical team, and the Bills, they did not have a physical team this past weekend. And I think with having both Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine, they have something there. Yeah. Like, they were able to move up and down the field with ease, and the Bills couldn't stop it. So I think the Bills, they need to reset the roster a little bit and, retool for next year. They're still a few pieces away. I feel like they're Super Bowl ready yet.
Yeah, so I feel like they've been trying to ride Josh Allen to the Super Bowl, and not saying that they didn't put weapons around him because he has weapons, but they just haven't they haven't took that next step with the roster.
Yes.
And brought in, or like haven't gone out for like when the Eagles brought in Darius Slay. And now obviously that's hard because like the team wasn't really too good then, but like we needed a corner. So what did we do? We arguably got top 3 corner of the game at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bills, they don't really make trades at the deadline to like try to like bolster their roster. You know what I mean?
They got that one guy named Naeem Hines.
But he's not bolstering their roster. You know what I mean?
He helped in the special teams game.
What you need at the deadline.
You need a guy that can be a key contributor right away.
You need a difference maker.
And they did not. They don't have anyone besides, I think, Stephon Diggs.
Do you think at all they were kind of expecting to get Odell?
I don't know, because
you would think even with that, they probably knew that medically he was not ready.
Yeah. Well, they wanted to see where he's at. Maybe they sign him in the offseason and he could be an acquisition that would help them. But I don't know if they were just one piece away. I think they're still more than one piece away for being a contender each and every year. Just because you have Josh Allen, it makes you really good in your division, but like I don't think you could compete with teams like the Chiefs and the Bengals right now.
Well, let's stay on the Bills for a second because I'm curious as to what you say, and then I'll say what I think. What do you think of Josh Allen? How he's kind of took a step back a little bit.
I think he has missed out on, or missed Brian Dable in this offense. I think Brian Dable made him a better quarterback, making sure he doesn't turn the ball over, giving him opportunities where he's playing safe football. And now with, who's there? I think it's Ken Dorsey right now as their OC.
They're just taking shots.
They're just taking shots. Like, there must have been, I don't know how many times in that game, and especially in that Dolphins game, where you just keep seeing them take shots downfield. It's cool and all, but like your receivers, most of the time, they're covered, and that means they're not open. And 9 times out of 10, that's going to lead to a turnover or an incompletion. So I think they need to be more conservative on offense because I don't think you have a team that could be really aggressive right now. And I still think you need to bolster up that O-line because you don't have enough time with Josh Allen to drop back and throw a deep shot like that. There's still pieces away from being a Super Bowl team, I think. And I like what Josh Allen has done. But right now, I think Joe Burrow has overtaken him in the quarterback rankings.
For sure.
And possibly Jalen Hurts.
I'd say so.
I would say, Mahomes is 1, Burrow. Then you can argue Hurts and Allen for 3. But, he just needs to stop turning the ball over. And like you said...
So pretty much you're saying that this is stemming from the offensive coordinator, and that you think that if they would like to see Josh Allen become more of a... Not successful, because he's obviously successful. But if you want to see him be able to... you use that big arm to make the big plays, and that's supposed to make you the X factor.
Yeah.
You can't try to utilize your X factor every single play.
Yeah,
it's supposed to come out randomly. And I look back when he hurt his elbow. Those games where they played in Detroit. I don't remember who they played. I think it was the Browns. Was one of them?
Possibly.
But pretty much in those games, we saw Josh Allen not throw down the field, and the numbers weren't as mind-blowing. And you were like, is he playing well?
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's playing like a normal quarterback.
Yes.
Or not a normal quarterback. He's playing like a good quarterback, but he's not playing like the Josh Allen we knew.
Yes.
So, I'm going to take some accountability in that. I was like, I don't know if he's playing too well. But realistically, when you look back, there were some throws he probably wants back and whatnot, but it just seemed like Ken Dorsey, I think, right? You said he just didn't really seem like he was prepared to play, trying to get first down after first down. It just seemed like he was just wanted to do deep shots all the time. And then for Josh Allen, he I feel like he has a higher ceiling than what I'm going to say I think he is, because I mentioned this to you already. He just reminds me of a mobile Brett Favre, and that's not a bad thing, but I think that even though he's a mobile Brett Favre, that's a great thing, but he has so much more potential than that.
Yes.
And it sucks to see the coordinator not really let him just do checkdowns, do stuff like that. Like, every quarterback does checkdowns.
Yeah.
But it just seems like Allen doesn't. It's always got to be 10 to 15 yards down the field.
Maybe they need to get a guy he could check down to besides Stephon Diggs. Maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't
Cook.
help. It doesn't help that like Davis and Diggs are both deep threats.
Yes.
So maybe it's like Ken Dorsey's like, my hands are tied here. These are all deep threat.
Dawson Knox is one of those guys, but they don't use him as a check down guy.
They use Isaiah McKenzie over the middle.
Yes.
But even he's not going to get open all the time.
And you can't be relying on Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
Like, he's pretty much
So,
done.
yeah, like you said, they need some upgrades.
Yes, they need to
I don't think Dorsey's a bad
offseason.
offensive coordinator. He just needs to, we won't know until they get guys that could probably run the middle of the field a little bit better.
Yeah, they just need to reevaluate and go from there. But, all right, let's just get it over with. Let's talk about your Eagles.
Yeah, so we steamrolled the Giants 38-7.
It was a domination.
There was a point in the game where it just, you knew it was over.
Let's just say when it was 21-0. Or when, Eli. I said Eli. Daniel Jones threw that pick to Bradbury. I'm like, it's over.
I mean, my biggest thing was, at one point, I forget when it was. I think we were up, 20. It was 28, and then you guys scored 7. And I was like, okay, they could try to fight a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Not saying it's a guaranteed comeback, because even 28-7 is still like multiple score games.
Yeah,
it's like
three or four.
Yeah. The thing is, I feel like with the Eagles, I'm gonna praise them at some point in this podcast. But right now, I want to talk about some things I saw. I don't exactly like how Sirianni, coming into the third quarter, we just ran the ball and we're just trying to take the time off. Like when they scored that touchdown. And then we got 3 and out or something. And then you guys got the ball back. I'm like, we're letting them back in this. You have to get first downs. You can't just keep running the ball and then when it doesn't work, whatever, just keep taking the time down. Mm-hmm. Especially in the third quarter. There's 30 minutes left. I'm sure the analytics say that was the right thing to do, but you have to have some sense of where this game is at right now.
Yes.
And I didn't feel like that was the right move. And then also just knowing that the Eagles are just not a team that tends to score in the second half. Now, a lot of that's because, again, we're up, and we try to run the ball up.
Up by a lot.
And we try to just run the ball and just take the clock down. And at some point, you just need to keep your foot on the gas pedal. I know, again, there's probably analytics about, your players, they probably going to get hurt more if you try to just keep playing like that into the third and fourth.
Yep.
But these are just you can't do that in the playoffs. The regular season, whatever. But playoffs, you got to keep your foot on the gas pedal. I did not like that.
Yes.
And then I will say it definitely helped that Brian Daboll, listen, he made some mistakes this game.
He did. He wasn't perfect.
He did, yeah.
Going for it
talk about
early in
the
that
first
game.
one, yeah.
4th and 8, their first possession.
I just feel like he didn't have a sense for the game there.
Yeah.
This is going to be a shootout. You can't just...
Yeah. I know you want to make a statement score, so you're competitive with the Eagles, but you can't be doing that. You got to pin them back deep there.
Especially
and
4th and 8.
Drive and earn points, not give them easy points by being already midway down the field.
4th and 8 is crazy.
4th and 8. If it was maybe 4th and 2...
No, I was going to say, 4th and 5, I could understand it because it opens up a few things. You could run for 5 yards. You could do, an out route for 5 yards. You could try to take a shot and catch them off guard.
Yeah.
But, 8 yards, everyone can kind of play back at that 8-yard line, and we just watch what you do.
Mm-hmm. Our receivers could not get open this game. It's because they have Bradbury. They got Darius Slay. We don't have any really playmakers at the receiver position.
You have some guys that are, up and coming maybe a little bit.
Yeah, but they're no...
Richie James, he might be a good 4.
Yeah.
Right, just to kind of throw in there every once in a while.
When you look at the Giants roster, who would start on the Eagles? Saquon Barkley?
That's it.
Maybe Dexter Lawrence? Maybe. Other than that,
Andrew Thomas.
The Eagles have
Even though I love him a lot. But I'll admit that Andrew Thomas is really good.
But, the Eagles have a Pro Bowl roster, and they have a better player at every position. The Giants just coming into this game, I knew it was not going to be great, just because of the fact we're a rebuilding team.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles, they win the line of scrimmage a lot. They have a way better offensive line. Our D-line couldn't generate a lot of pressure this year, and you're going up against one of the better offensive lines. I would say they're the best offensive line in the league.
And then you didn't even mention you're going to go up against arguably the second MVP voting.
And you're going up, you're going up against Jalen Hurts, and you're going up against a team that had 70 sacks as a defense. That's like
it's third all time.
Okay,
and you probably won't see it for another 30 years.
And the only good player in our offensive line would probably be Andrew Thomas. Evan Neal, he's still a work in progress. But the interior of our offensive line, it's a rotational piece right now. Because you got Nick Gates, who doesn't even start half the time. It's either him or Ben Bredesen. They're always rotating. Feliciano, he's a good veteran, but he's not a guy that's a Pro Bowl caliber center. And then who's our right guard? Mark Lewinsky, he's another veteran guy that he'll be good for you for some games, but not against these top teams.
It's like with them, it's like playing baseball. Like some days he'll go 1 for 3, 2 for 3. Other days he's gonna go 0 for 4.
Yes. So when we're going up against the Eagles, right now they have a major talent gap, and
when you have a talent gap like that, your coach has to outcoach the other coach, and he can't outcoach Sirianni at that point.
Yes,
he made one mistake, and that was the start of everything falling apart. I want to say, though, Daniel Jones, he struggled. He struggled against the pressure, as most quarterbacks do, obviously.
He had no time to throw that ball.
Yeah, no time to throw the ball. And just, he didn't look comfortable at all. At any point in that game, he did not look like the Daniel Jones we've seen the last 2 weeks, or just all season, really. And I think everything was against the Giants this game. It really was. You have the Giants who you're
total domination.
I feel like the best leader on the Giants is your coach.
Yeah.
Right? And the best leader for the Eagles is Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
And I feel like there's a little bit difference. Because you have in the huddle, he's telling you guys, like, calm down. Whereas, Dable's telling Jones to calm down.
Yeah.
So it's just everything was just a little rough.
It wasn't going well. Contact gate, water gate, chain gate, everything was going bad for the Giants, man.
The chain, that didn't affect you guys.
It was the first drive of the game. That kind of ruined our momentum.
You got the 2 yards. And you still went up the field.
We went up the field a little bit.
Struggled.
We had one catch.
What was the other one you said?
Richie
the
James.
Water gate. So the hotel.
Yeah,
hotel water wasn't
They turned
working.
off our hotel water in Philly.
And that was the other one.
Contact gate. Daniel Jones' contact fell out because.
His contacts fell out.
I've never seen that happen.
That is crazy.
So,
I didn't know he wore
everything went bad for the Giants. Now I want to talk about the contract situation with both Jones and Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
Now what should they do? Because these are two guys who you view as franchise pieces, hopefully. I think Saquon, he should be up there with being a top 3 paid back. But does he deserve McCaffrey money if he's injury prone? Now, I know his injuries were kind of fluke injuries. He had the torn ACL. He had that ankle. What'd you just do there? Some calculations?
Yeah, no, while you were talking about that, I was just going to talk about you guys also gave up 268 yards.
Well, yeah, we need some linebackers. We need some help in the secondary. Besides Dory Jackson and McKinney.
The only reason I say that is just because it just shows, you're congrats on making the playoffs, but you're just not with these upper echelon teams.
Well, yeah, there's a major talent gap right now.
Yeah, so I feel like Giants fans, as much as the loss probably sucked,
we're still rebuilding.
A, it was expected. B, that's a great first year for a rebuild.
Yes, winning one playoff game and losing in the divisional round is pretty good.
I think the only thing that sucks is after you lose the game, you're like, I wish we had a better pick.
Yeah,
because now but. Like I said, this wasn't a bad one because this draft is very all over the place.
There's some guys
we don't know where everyone's
get.
going yet. So.
There's some steals we could do with receivers and corners and
You'll
all
be fine.
that stuff.
I think linebackers might fall in this draft, so you'll have a chance to get a few.
But going back on Saquon Barkley, I think he should get top 3 paid for running back. And I don't know.
I'm not too sure about that.
I don't know if it should be around 12 to $14 million a year. I would pay him because I think he's the leader of your football team. He's a good captain for your football team, and I think without him, we wouldn't be relevant.
I think, I would agree. And just the only thing I don't think he should get paid that much. And I'm sure he'll take a pay cut to stay, just because I think that he just seems like one of those people.
Yeah, he's a loyal team player guy.
I think the biggest thing is that he isn't injury prone, but, well, he might be. But it's because, like, running backs, they're always injured.
That's another thing.
With Saquon, like, he wasn't healthy this year too much, and he still played great. Yeah. But it's the fact that he wasn't fully healthy. Uh-huh. But then you kind of have to say, well, are any running backs truly fully healthy?
He still finished top 5 in rushing.
He did. So Saquon, I mean, he's a guy you have to keep. You also have to utilize him more. 9 carries in this game.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's also where, as an Eagles fan, I was
that.
just like, you guys are just not giving Saquon
Especially,
the ball.
he was averaging 6.8 yards per carry. I know he popped one
back
in
a catch?
the second half.
He had 2 catches.
Yeah, he had around 80 yards on the day. And for a limited amount of touches, I think that's pretty good. But, yeah, they didn't utilize him much. Because I know we were down, 28-0 at halftime. You can't really be running the ball. You're trying to conserve the clock.
That's the thing with going forward on that 4th down, is that you risked us going up 14-0.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, well, okay, we can't run the ball as much as we probably wanted to.
Uh-huh.
If you punted the ball, we get stuck. Okay, we can't get a first down. Boom, you're allowed to run the ball again.
Yes.
But you took that out of your hands. That's just not something you were able to do at that point. And then you finally decided to run the ball a little bit in like the 3rd, and he had that big run. It's like, well, too little, too late.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, talk about Daniel Jones, because I want to hear what you think about that. We had conversations, obviously, off podcast about it. You've said 2 years at one point. Now we've looked maybe for...
I'm thinking 3 is the magic number right now.
You mean right in the middle?
Yes, I think 3 is a good number. Now, how much money per year?
So most elite quarterbacks are probably going to be making 48 to 52 from now on.
I don't think he's going to get anywhere near that.
I think if he's doing that kind of year or that kind of deal, 3 years, 25.
I don't think that he gets 25. I think he gets more. I think he gets around
35.
I was thinking, either 32 to 35.
Yeah, I don't know why I said 25. That seems...
Yeah.
But, okay, 35.
That's really cheap. I would say, 32 to 35 million is that range that I think he'll get per year. Does he deserve it? Yeah, I think he does, because he proved that with a good coaching staff and, good coaching staff, he can win games, and especially with a roster that's pretty much depleted at the receiver core right now, and the offensive line's not the greatest at the moment.
It makes me think of Josh Allen and Dable.
Yes.
Is Dable just, able to make quarterbacks look better than they are, or is he getting the talent out of the quarterback?
Yes.
What would you say?
I think he's getting the talent out of the quarterback, and he's making the quarterback not turn the ball over as much. He's calling plays that are quarterback friendly, and that's why I think he was successful this year.
And it shows that you can succeed with a quarterback friendly offense. You don't need your quarterback to be doing everything crazy to win games.
I think, Jones, I think he could win a Super Bowl if you build a team around him. He could be that franchise guy. But right now, they still have that big talent gap that I don't think they're ready for a Super Bowl anytime soon. It would probably take 3 to 5 years.
You know why I think
3 to 5 years.
So there's obviously this, we don't exactly know if we're going to try to make him that franchise guy right now. It's kind of in that in between. Are we going to make him a bridge and just kind of wait 3 years down the road, see what we got in the draft? Or see the guy for the next however many years? And it's kind of sucky that he decided to, or that you guys unfortunately waited so long to try to get something out of him, because now you're kind of okay, well, we have to bring him back.
Well, yeah. They declined his option. They didn't want to bring him back with the option because it was a lot of money.
He was a 6th overall pick.
They wanted him to earn it. And I think he earned a second contract now. But it depends on, what the business side of things is, what number they agree on, how many years. But, yeah, I would say 3 years, around 32 to 35 million per year.
I think what makes him so intriguing is that he's able to run the ball.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
He's not just a pocket passer, and it's okay, what's really the upside? The upside is he is a guy who can play make. And he's had a really good year for having one of the worst O-lines
One of the worst. Yeah, they were ranked 31st according to Pro Football Focus.
It was nice that he was able to have some protection on his blind side, but other than that,
yeah, it was a bad year of offensive line.
I think he found a lot of success running because he was able to see the people coming because Thomas was protecting his blind side, so that probably helped as well.
Yes,
yeah, this team, it's one of those where
they're still a work in progress.
Yeah,
it's year 1 of the rebuild, new era, new coach, new GM. I want to see another offseason with them, see what they do in the draft. There's gonna be some free agents they can sign, but they gotta keep the players in house first, and then see how much money you have. You got some contracts you got to look at. Kenny Galladay, they're probably going to cut him. Leonard Williams, you need to restructure his deal because Dave Gettleman, he's awful. Doesn't know how to work the cap space whatsoever. But, yeah, you got some things you have to do this offseason. Make sure this team gets better. And it was a good season for the first year of the rebuild. But now you realize after playing the Eagles how much of a talent gap there is with the NFC East, and you got to match up with those teams if you want to compete.
Yep. Should I talk about my Eagles a little bit? Because I didn't not hate on them, but I criticized them. Let me give them a little bit of love. All right.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're
they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're a really good team. It's one of those where it's hard as an Eagles fan. I know people are going to be like, but you guys had such a great year. It's the fact that we have all these expectations building off of the fact that we haven't, quote unquote, played anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that obviously adds a lot of stress from a fan's perspective because all you want is to see your team prove otherwise. But like Jalen Hurts, he played fantastic. He was able to throw for 2 touchdowns, run for a touchdown. He was able to obviously run the ball. He was able to get first downs. He just moved the chains. He was really, really, really good for us. I thought the Giants' defense, obviously having Adoree and Xavier McKinney, would be a little more difficult. They have obviously a great coordinator in Wink Martindale. But yeah, it looked like Hurts was prepared, and that's obviously on our coaching staff for making sure everything was set up. Kenneth Gainwell, he makes things really rough for the Miles Sanders argument to bring him back.
Yeah.
Not saying that Kenneth Gainwell is better than Sanders, but when you have an O-line as good as ours, do you need to pay Miles Sanders when we have guys like Boston Scott who perform well before our O-line or behind our O-line? Now, obviously, if you could keep Sanders, that makes things even better. So it really just depends on how much money Sanders wants.
It has to be a team-friendly deal.
Team-friendly, and he's also going to have to understand that as much as we love him, he's going to be the last guy that we're looking at. Like, we're going to look at Jalen Hurts, think about next year, restructures, all that, what we're going to have to do to re-sign Hurts. We're going to look at CJ. He's probably priority number 2. James Bradbury we're going to look at. Like, Sanders is at the bottom. We are not worried about him.
He's not top priority right now.
Listen, when you have a team as good as ours, in the second round, we could take a running back that could be our next guy for the next few years.
Yep.
So, I know Sanders said, bring me back. I love it here. But it's rough, man. And then, like I said, with Kenneth and how well he plays when he gets opportunities, I don't know.
Exactly.
Again, I love Sanders. It seems like it would be like a waste of like $7 million. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a waste of money at that point. I'd rather have depth at other positions. But yeah, Devontae, he played great. He had a lot of good catches. Dallas Goedert played well. Credit to Adoree Jackson, was able to slow down AJ. I know they said AJ was not. He wasn't like he was able to play, but he had his hamstring kind of tightened up on him. I believe after the first half. And that's why towards the end of the third or whatever, you saw him out on the bench. He slammed his helmet. He was upset. But all reports say he'll be good. He's fine. I'm pretty sure there was a Bleacher Report notification. I didn't get to read it, but it was an A.J. Brown thing.
Okay.
But I want to talk about the defense. Jonathan Gannon, I'm a guy who I'm hard on him, mostly because I think all of Philly is hard on defensive coordinators because with Jim Schwartz, it was so like he was good, but like he played so soft. And Gannon did that, and when we saw Gannon do that, we just got flashbacks. We got PTSD that it's going to be just 3rd and 50 converted, and we saw that in Dallas. So yeah, we're hard on him. He had a great game plan. Hassan Reddick was fantastic. He got pressure like every single play. Josh Sweat was great. Jordan Davis got more playing time. You love to see that. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, finally he's fully back now. He played really well. So, yeah, I was happy. But the only downside, Robert Quinn, 4th-round pick. That's all I'm going to say. 4th-round pick for Robert Quinn, and he did nothing. So, hopefully in the Niners game he could do something.
You never
Big
know.
forced fumble. You never know. But
Put him on Trent Williams. But Trent Williams, he did look good last game.
yeah.
Compared to the Seahawks game.
I'm excited to see us switch around Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick on Trent Williams.
Niners are going to have a handful of problems,
especially
I think.
up the middle. They're a little bit rough up the middle.
Yeah.
They have the 2 tackles. They're fine. But like Jordan Davis, Fletch, Hargrave, all of them, that's going to be rough.
Yeah. Should be a fun one.
Yeah. Our linebackers are going to have to be the X factor in this game. You got to make sure that McCaffrey is not able to hit it to the outside.
Do McCaffrey things.
Yeah. And then also whoever's going to cover McCaffrey, hopefully it's Gardner-Johnson because he's able to cover running backs. But for that to be happening, Avonte Maddox is going to have to be back. So we'll see.
Yep.
So I guess that brings us to the Cowboys and Niners game. Unless you wanted to touch a little bit more on the Jags and Chiefs. We didn't talk about the Jags too much. What did you think of the Trevor Lawrence? He played well.
He played well. He had some questionable throws, but they didn't get picked off.
They didn't.
He had 1 interception, 1 touchdown.
I feel like you can't talk about this game and not mention the Christian Kirk drop.
Yeah.
That was in the breadbasket. It was perfect. Well, maybe not perfect, but it was
catchable.
It was
and
in his hands.
When you're getting paid all that money, you got to make that catch.
Yeah.
But the Jags, they're in year 1 of their rebuild.
They looked really good
They
this year.
looked really good this year. I think they'll be a divisional winner next year.
Yeah.
It's early prediction.
I agree.
But their division isn't that strong right now, and I think they could take advantage of that and hopefully be successful next year and win a division. But, yeah, Trevor Lawrence, he made major improvements this season, and he looked pretty good against the Chiefs, who has one of the better defenses in the AFC. I think credit to the Jags for a great season, but you still got more work to do. They fell short.
Oh, and then also, again, Jamal Agnew fumbled in the red zone.
That's when you had an opportunity to make, the game close again, and you kind of hurt your chances of
I don't know if it
doing
would have
that.
tied the game. I can't remember.
It wouldn't have. It would have made it 24-27. It could have 17.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they had an opportunity.
Kadarius Toney covered the onside kick. It was a really good onside kick.
Yeah,
that looked good.
I wanted him to drop it, but,
Yeah.
it's okay.
And, yeah. I feel like that's all there is to talk about that. I mean, Travis Kelce, 2 touchdowns, good for him, but he does that every year. I'm not surprised.
Best tight end in the league.
Best tight end of all time, in my opinion. I think he's there.
Up there.
But yeah, let's hit on this Cowboys-Niners game. It was the result that we both wanted.
Yeah, screw the Cowboys.
Kind of. I was in between, obviously being an Eagles fan.
You think the Cowboys were the better matchup for the Eagles?
No, I thought the Niners were.
Okay. Well,
I know people are going to say that that's stupid.
I'd rather have Brock Purdy right now than Dak Prescott.
That's the thing. Is Brock Purdy, he has played pretty good. Dak Prescott, he's played pretty bad. But the only thing is, I just feel like Dallas, they play good against us.
At the end of the game?
We'll get to that.
That was awful.
The reason I didn't want Dallas, they tend to play really well against us. There's just something about us that makes them play better. For us, I don't know if we play better. I think we just play like ourselves. Mm-hmm. But they play better against us. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Part of it was if we lose in the championship, it better not be the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I'd rather the Niners go and do it.
And now with Pollard hurt, I would say your chance of winning that game would be
greater. It would have been a lot better. But, yeah, CeeDee Lamb, great game. Dalton Schultz, he kind of let us down. Not let us down, let his team down.
Yes.
At the end of the game, he got the ball, it was 15 yards up the field, would have made a Hail Mary kind of possible. And he didn't get his foot down. It just seemed like he thought he already got it down. So he had a brain fart. The Niners, Elijah Mitchell, he looked good. McCaffrey, he's injured. They said it. He tends to be a little bit injury prone. We all know this. So probably going into Philly, they're going to use McCaffrey a little bit differently than they normally would. Elijah Mitchell was going to get some carries. He's a good running back. He ran for 1,000 his rookie year, or at least close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Purdy, reason I wanted him over Dak is because I feel like if we get pressure to Purdy, what he does is he runs 15 yards back and doesn't really know what to do with the ball. And I think we'll be able to get plenty of pressure, which is why I think having Brock Purdy wouldn't be too bad. I think the only thing with the Niners that makes them so scary is they just have so many different things they could do with McCaffrey, with Debo.
And Kyle Shanahan, I think. Well, I don't know what that is. But Kyle Shanahan, he's going to be someone to look out for in this game. I think his offense will look good, but it depends on how well you block that Eagles D-line.
It's also this is the best corners that they're going to face.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, that's why I said, like, with the Eagles, it's a match made in heaven on that defense because the D-line, everyone knows if you have a good D-line, it takes pressure off your corners. And if you have good corners, it takes pressure off your D-line. They have more time to get to the quarterback.
Got both.
So it's like in times where the corners are starting to fall apart, the D-line can get to the quarterback, and they won't have enough time to let those receivers get open, and then vice versa, right? D-line can't get to the quarterback. The corners are shutting them down. We have more time. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yep. And, I'm excited to see their defense and how they adjust for Jalen. I don't think that they have been particularly good against running quarterbacks. I think that has been something that they struggle with. Now,
maybe, I don't
to
know.
be fair, the one I'm thinking of is Fields.
Well, yeah, Fields was...
He ran everywhere. But
crazy.
He's an insane runner.
That was
also
one of the
rain
first
game.
weeks of the season. Yeah.
But they were still really good defense last year, too. So I had high expectations for them.
And that was Trey Lance playing.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't matter. I'm saying that they struggle on that side.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously, that doesn't really...
Running quarterback-wise, they beat Kyler, or was that Kyler? I don't know if that was Kyler.
Falcons.
Mariota.
He was able to run. I don't know who the heck Caleb Huntley is. I'm looking back at the games.
He's that running back. He's a rookie. Running quarterback.
They lost to the Broncos 10. Oh, that was with Jimmy G. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, that was early on.
Overall, I think when I've seen their defense struggle, it's been when the quarterback runs.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm excited to see what D'Amico Ryans could do. Should be a good head coach, hopefully.
Revenge game.
I said that, yeah. Legend for us, but I'm excited to see how they adjust. They played really good against the Cowboys. That defense, both defenses played well. I'll give credit to Dallas for their stuff. I mean, they held the Niners under 20 points.
Would you say this is the best defense the Eagles is going to face all year?
Yes.
Yes.
They have the best defense in the league, so the answer has to be yes.
Yes. So it should give the Eagles offense some problems too. But
the only issue I have is that
how much?
Is A.J. Brown needs to be healthy.
Yeah, if
because
he's not healthy, it's not the same.
We need him to be healthy so that because the biggest thing with this Niners defense is they don't have too many good corners. They have Javarius Ward. I like him. He's respectable. Don't think he's a number one in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll take that back. He actually probably should have been a Pro Bowler, but I don't think he is a number one on a.
What about that safety, Hufanga?
I like him. I think a little overrated. I think people liked to jump on that bandwagon for him a little too early. He played like he's a young player, which he is. He made mistakes, and every player makes mistakes. And they talk about him like he's the next coming of Troy Polamalu. So
you never know.
I'm rooting for him. He seems like a great guy, but like not against us. But what was I saying?
I asked, they're the best.
The corners
defense he played.
I was talking about the corners. So if AJ and Devontae can get open quickly, boom. Our O-line should be able to neutralize their D-line a little bit. Sure, Nick Bosa will do his thing. Jordan Mailata is going to have to wake up. Going to have to get to work. But thankfully on that side, we have like Dickerson. He can kind of cut over, try to help. We have Goddard, can try to chip him. Sanders is good at blocking-ish. He has his times. It's more Gainwell that I think is a better blocker. But I think the biggest thing I'm excited to see is how can we stop George Kittle. We tend to be a team that struggles with tight ends, especially up the field. But that's also when we didn't have safeties like we do now, so who knows. And then the other thing is I'm most worried about their linebacker core. They have Dre Greenlaw, Alshire, and Fred Warner.
Yep.
Those are three great linebackers, all could probably be Pro Bowlers if they were on different teams. Well, Fred Warner on the Niners, but like Drake Greenlaw and Aziz Al-Shire, they could probably be Pro Bowlers if they were on different teams. So they're really good, and I'm excited to see what they do. I think running the ball, we'll probably be able to do our thing still, because obviously sometimes, in football, a great O-line tends to be able to dominate a D-line. So they don't have too many guys up the middle. I mean, I think they have, Teron Armstead, he's fine.
They got
Javon Kinlaw, he hasn't really become anything yet.
Yeah.
So you never know. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I said from the beginning of the season, if we go to the Niners, we're probably the team that matches them the best.
Yeah.
To go against them. So we got what we want. This is going to be a really good game.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Should be a fun one.
Yeah. But going back to Dallas, you want to go ahead and talk about that final play?
That was...
Because that's 2 years in a row now against the Niners that they've done the stupidest stuff.
Now, Kellen Moore calls the plays, right? But Mike McCarthy gives the okay for the plays to be put out on the field.
Meaning he saw that play and he said, okay.
Yeah, let's just have Zeke line up as center and have no other offensive lineman right next to him. And let's just snap the ball to Dak Prescott, because we'll have plenty of time to throw the ball and, create a play, gadget play that will magically go down the field and win the game. What were you thinking? That was...
Zeke got clobbered.
Oh, yeah. He got demolished right as he snapped the ball. And
that wasn't a D lineman. That was a linebacker.
Yeah, that was a linebacker. And imagine if that was a D lineman.
And Dak just...
He threw it. He found an open guy, and then the safety just came in.
I think it was, Jimmy Ward? Something like that? Somebody.
Yeah. That was such a stupid play call that Dallas fans deserve it.
They do. I'm happy that it ended like that. Yes. That was perfect. That was comical.
That was a crappy game from Dak, and, he's not a top 10 quarterback anymore. He's getting overpaid.
There's a chance that the Cowboys... It might begin thinking about moving off of Dak.
They can't right now because they're kind of financially glued to him. But
I love seeing this as an Eagles fan. I'm sure you love seeing as a Giants fan that they've screwed themselves over.
They did screw themselves over. And now with Tony Pollard being hurt, that kind of screws themselves, because now you got to keep Zeke, because Tony Pollard most likely will be out all year, or for most of the year next year. Mm-hmm. But I think Zeke, you need to revisit his contract situation, make sure he takes a pay cut. You got to, figure out what's the problem with Dak. Are you going to keep Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator?
It looks like after the Cowboys lost, Dak Prescott's girlfriend broke up with him.
Well, I wonder why.
Because he is not good.
Yeah. But the Cowboys, the Cowboys, they need to reevaluate the roster and see what they could do, because all they have right now is CeeDee Lamb at receiver. You got some other nice key pieces at receiver.
See, CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons, they're like the Bugatti under the, like that meme.
Yeah,
it's like the old broken down house, and it's just the two good players.
You need to find another receiver. It's like you had
Tony Pollard.
It's like you had one in Amari Cooper, but you're like, he's too much money. But that's how much receivers are nowadays, and you got to.
And if anything, that price is going up every year.
Yeah. So like what you were paying him was a bargain.
Yeah.
I think you had to keep him, and that hurt the Cowboys team this year. I think you had him, you have a chance beating the Niners in that game, but you didn't. So I think, the Cowboys, they need to reset, and I don't know. They always have good drafts. I think Tyler Smith, he was actually pretty good for what they got him at.
He'll be good over time.
Yeah.
But other than that, their line's still a little bit shaky.
Yeah, Tyron Smith's getting old. He's getting up there in age, so you don't know how much he has left in his career. Mm-hmm. Zach Martin, he's getting up there in age too, but he's still one of the better guards.
He's probably going to be an all-pro for the rest of his career.
Yeah, but he's getting up there in age. You still need to rebuild, retool if you want to compete with the Eagles and win a division. They're not there yet, and they have some changes they have to make this offseason. But stupid play call at the end of the game, and that's why the Cowboys lost.
Yeah.
But
I think we covered everything. Now, it was a little bit out of order, for sure, but... we covered
doesn't
everything.
matter. We covered everything we wanted to, and we'll have a predictions video coming out soon as well. So be on the lookout for that.
Yep. So with that being said, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Linktree, all that. We have all of our links to Spotify, iTunes, and Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
All right.
BenchWire out.